Welcome into another edition of Friar Territory here on the Foul Territory Network. I'm Kyle Glaser alongside former Padres center fielder Mike Cameron. Mike, the Padres dropped 2 of 3 from the Reds over the weekend. Nick Martinez took a no-hitter into the ninth inning against the Padres in the opener. The Padres rallied for a win on Saturday, but the offense fell flat again on Sunday, only scoring 2 runs. The Reds were able to rally for a walk-off win against closer Robert Suarez. We are now just past the halfway point of the season officially, and we've seen the Padres offense slump for the better part of 6 weeks now. Before we dive into the offensive struggles, I wanted to get your overall thoughts. How do you assess this current Padres team at the halfway mark of the season, approximately?
Well, I mean, for the most part, Kyle has been good and some bad, meaning just the production that you're getting from you need to get from two other spots,
Yeah,
possibly three spots if you're really looking at it.
yeah.
So that's been a thing. And then you've had Jackson go down for a little while, but he's back now. And just a little bit of I guess a slumpish part of with Tatis dealing with him, and but you've got some good out of Gavin Sheets and Cronworth. There have been times, and obviously Luis Arise is Luis Arise. He's gonna contribute in the factor that he doesn't swing and miss, and he's always going to put the pressure on the defense in that matter. But like the guys that need to carry the weight for the bearing of the team, still are the guys that in Jackson, Manny, obviously, and Tatis. Those are your three guys, and then you get like the type of production that you get out of Sheets has been, you know, kind of a stable situation, but you need to have production out of, more couple of more guys to help out, specifically left field. And sometimes, I mean, look, um, shortstop, and maybe and the catcher is going to give you whatever in that case. So if you can get at least 6, 7 guys in your lineup, at least 6 or 7, then you got a pretty good chance if you have some kind of consistency going into um, this division or battle in the second half of the season.
Yeah, and you talk about getting production from 6 or 7 spots in the lineup, and that's just not something the Padres have gotten for the last 6 weeks. Mike, I want to dive into the numbers with you because they're ugly. So on May 15th, the Padres were 27 and 15, a season high 12 games above 500. A lot of people talk about their 14 and 3 start, 15 and 4 start, but the 27 and 15 mark is actually when they were the most games above 500. After that date, after May 15th, the offense has been in a tailspin. So the Padres were 27 and 15 on that date. Since then, they're 18 and 23. The pitching staff has mostly held serve. It's been the offense that's changed. Padres have gone from averaging 4.7 runs per game prior to May 15th to 3.6 runs per game after. Their batting average has dropped from 264 to 230. Their OPS has dropped from 733 to 655. They've hit fewer home runs in almost the exact same amount of games, and they've stolen a lot fewer bases in almost the exact same amount of games. I want to ask you this because, look, you've lived it. Every offense is going to go through its slumps. Every lineup is going to have its moments where it's just not clicking. When does an offense to you go from, hey, it's just a down stretch, we'll figure it out, to, okay, we got to make some changes? What is the moment and the markers for you where you say, okay, yeah, this is actually a problem. We need to fix this?
Um, I mean, for the most part, Kyle, you're really uh, chasing consistency and great years from everyone day to day. There are always going to be two guys that are struggling when four are hitting, and then it when you get like four guys struggling, it makes it really hard to win ball games,
Yeah.
to push across runs. Fortunately for the team, they got off to a good start. They've been able to maintain it because of the bullpen and the pitching.
Yeah.
And so when offenses are going in this matter, is because you got like you got You got the shortstop. The production there has been inconsistent.
Yep.
Um, you got left field that's been inconsistent, and you're getting little to none production from the catcher spot. So it makes it really tough to win. Tatis, he's just having his own battles. We all know that, Tatis is not the four-hole hitter, which he's been moved around two, three,
Yep.
four, trying to find a niche right now to piece together some offense to turn the lineup over to, get to the guys that are swinging the bats very well. And obviously, when you have this type of stretch right now, man, it's just like, you know, it's not about soul searching. It's just trying to continue to find ways to get it done. Like, because the season doesn't stop. It doesn't stop at all. It keeps going, and it makes it very tough. When you're in a division like this, when you're trying to win ball games, it's just more frustrating for the players. And then guys tend to try to do too much,
Yep.
and so it wasn't that flow that they had early on in the season where Tatis was swinging the bat well and Jackson was swinging it well, and obviously Manny was doing his thing. So and then you got like some other Cronenworth and the other guys that are getting on base and being having the aggressive style base running. Those things tend to put you in position to score easier runs, and it just hasn't been right now. And part of it because Tatis has been a little bit inconsistent here lately, and he hasn't been getting on base. So the team is having to try to find ways to turn that around and try to get something going, get a spark or something going on offensively.
Yeah, the Padres are hitting 230, 297, 358 since that May 15th date. They are bottom five in the majors in all three slash line categories. They're bottom five in the majors in runs scored in that time. This has been one of the worst offenses in baseball. And Mike, I hear what you're saying about, guys are just slumping at the same time. They got a little more production. I'm going to take it a step further and say this is the point where they got to fix it. They cannot continue as they have been, just sitting here and waiting and saying, hey, we just got to get some guys hot. We just need a little more production. It's been 6 weeks of it. We are far past the point of, hey, this is just a downward slope. This is just one of those moments in the season where guys are slumping. The Padres actively need to make changes, and we've seen them do that a little bit over the last week. They made some changes to the lineup, but they weren't the right changes. We've talked about this a little bit where guys belong, and you hit on it. Fernando Tatis Jr. shouldn't be in the cleanup spot. He should be in the 2 spot. So, Mike, let's dive in. Let's fix the Padres offense. What do you say?
Well, I mean, Kyle, the one thing that everyone is looking for um, is production from some outfield spots. Um, I think everyone is going to be looking for the same type of players, in a sense, and it's going to come down to whether they can get someone. I don't know if they can trade for someone to bring them in to play left field. To get the production that they're looking for. I don't know, man. Like you got a lot of money tied up in Bogart, so I don't know how they're going to fix that shortstop situation. Um, I mean, so we're really looking at 2 spots, and then if you get Tatis productive as he's capable of, that's that's almost like adding a whole nother player. I mean, because he's like two. I mean, the guys are more than likely in any given season, he's a 6.5 win player on a yearly
So it
basis.
sounds
So
like from what
it's
you're talking about, do you see this as a personnel issue versus an approach issue versus a coaching issue? And what are the things you look for in determining that? Which one do you see it as?
well, was it? I don't think it was coaching at the beginning when they were doing well.
Right, I
So
agree. It's
I
not.
think I,
It's not. I think it's a personnel issue. But what do you think it is?
yeah, no
Personnel
doubt.
versus approach.
I definitely. I mean, it's just that unconventionally you have a unconventional first baseman who's a contact guy. So, but you back that up with Gavin Sheets and what he's able to do. It's just a matter of getting production from your shortstop, your left field, and your catcher, and more consistency out of your right fielder. If you're looking at what you need to really have to be successful and what has made the team successful. So it could be personnel. I mean, you may be able to add someone at the deadline or before the deadline or whenever you decide to do it. AJ has been known to do it whenever. So
Yeah.
it's just a matter of adding someone that can help out the guys so the the weight bearing situation doesn't become very high on Manny Machado and it doesn't start to bear down on Tatis because he understands that, man, if I get going, then we're going to be a much better team, a much more dangerous team on a daily basis. So, a lot has to do with it. I think it's more personnel than anything. The approaches, I mean, these guys are experienced. I mean, this is not like a young team that's in their first couple of years. All these guys understand how to play baseball. They've been in a winning situation. They're just trying to get back to that. And offensively, what they haven't been able to do is be consistent and get production throughout. And this is the reason why they're in the stretch they are now, because some of your main cogs are not producing as the team and as I'm sure the person himself uh, haven't produced up into the matter of what they need to do.
No question. This is a personnel issue, and we're going to talk about some of the personnel changes they need to make and can make right now, as opposed to waiting for the trade deadline. Mike, we're going to take a quick break, hear a word from our sponsors. We'll jump right in.
All right, Harry's is going to get an award here, MVP in the shaving world. And AJ, if you want to equate it to things that we talk about, it's not expensive. And it's super versatile, right? The company itself, because there's other products that you can get on the site, deodorant, body wash, etc. But for your everyday shaving needs, Harry's has you covered. And you look at the pricing, you look at the quality, and you're like, wait, why was I using the old classic brand for a long time?
Listen, as somebody right now that needs a Harry's, I've just been lazy. Harry's, I have plenty of them lined up ready to use. You can use them for more than one shave, which is huge for me. And the pricing is right. I got to go get my Harry's because my neck beard is sick. But Harry's will fix that. It'll line me up straight. It'll no bumps, no cuts. It's exactly what I need for a great price.
That's right. Get the edge on your shave with Harry's. Normally, their trial set is $10, but right now you can get it for just $6 at harrys.com/foul. That's our exclusive link, harrys.com/foul, for a $6 trial set.
All right, welcome back to Friar Territory. Kyle Glaser alongside Mike Cameron. All right, Mike, before the break, we established with this offense, it's a personnel issue, and we're far past the point of, oh, it's just a little bit of, some regular struggles that guys go through during the season. This is a problem, and it needs to be fixed. The Padres have fallen out of playoff position. They're 18-23 over the last 6 weeks. They're bottom 5 offensively in pretty much every category. And by continuing to do the same thing they have been doing, they're just going to continue to have games where they're scoring 1 run, 2 runs, 3 runs, which has been the norm. I want to talk to you about the changes that they can make and should make. We saw them shake up the lineup last week. It has not yielded production or results because they're still not putting guys in the best positions to succeed. So I wanted to go through with you, rather than just sit here and complain about it and point out all the problems, let's come up with a solution.
Yeah.
I want to start with the top half of the lineup, and here's the solution. And I talked about this for weeks. Luis Arias batting leadoff, Fernando Tatis Jr. in the 2-hole where his power speed combination plays and allows him to see some more pitches. Jackson Merrill 3, Manny Machado in the cleanup spot, Gavin Sheets in the 5-hole. Those are your top 5 hitters right now. You achieve left-right balance. And I know there's some concern that, hey, you're moving Manny Machado down the lineup. That means fewer at-bats. But the difference between hitting 3 and 4 over the course of a season, an entire season, is between 13 and 14 plate appearances. That's a worthy trade-off for how many more opportunities he's going to come up with 2 men on, in some cases bases loaded, when you have Arias and Tatis and Merrill hitting in front of you, putting your best run producer in the spot where he's going to come up with the most men on base most consistently. That's what this offense needs right now. So I want to start with that should be the top 5. Where are you on the idea of Tatis moving back into the 2-hole where he's hit most of his career, Machado batting cleanup, and again, going Arias, Tatis, Merrill, Machado, Sheets is your top 5?
Yeah, I like that. I always like Tatis he's either been, you have a legit guy that can lead off and he doesn't walk much, but he doesn't swing and miss also. He probably is not going to give you the 1-0 lead. But I like Tatis in the 2-hole because if Arias gets on base, we know Arias doesn't really steal a whole lot. But I think Tatis can play the game sometimes. Like he's not a swing for the fence, going for the downs every type of guy. Like he understands, like, okay, maybe I don't got it right now. So let me just try to shoot one in the gap, in the hole over here and try to get a first third situation. But also he does have the capability of making it 2-0 if he does have somebody on and the pitcher's in the stretch. Um, I like Jackson in the spot of the 3-hole against right-handers and have give him some type of protection in that sense. Because if you get a Tatis on or a Rise on, that still puts the pitcher at a disadvantage than having, Jackson Merrill who can handle the bat very well. You know, I would probably put, if Jackson were to play every day, I would probably put the lefty. I would put him versus the lefty in the 3-hole so Manny can protect him, and then flip flop it when he got the situations with the righty. So I kind of look at it from that perspective and kind of go with it like that. And and I know that probably messes up your balance a little bit when you're putting sheets in the 5-hole. But right now you got to go with it. So like look, we're, what are we,
83 games.
83 games in already. So,
Yeah.
like, this is it. Like, we passed the halfway point now. It's time to, this is what we got right now until we are able to get some help or whatever it is, the desire. Excuse me.
And I
But
agree that they are going to need to get help with the trade deadline, but I think realistically, if you're the Padres right now, look, it's June 30th. There's a full
Yeah.
month between now and the trade deadline. You can't just wait for trade deadline help. You have to
No.
max the team you have now, because if you wait another 3 weeks to a month, you might fall out of it. The Padres are 45 and 38. They've fallen out of the
Yeah.
playoff picture. They're a game out of the last wild card spot right now. They
Yeah.
can't keep
Yeah.
doing what they're doing. And that leads me to the next move they need to make. It's something I've talked about before, and it's just past time. Luis Campusano needs to be brought up, made their everyday DH. Gavin Sheets is getting better in left field. He had a nice diving catch out there the other day, and he needs to be put in your 6-hole right now. So the Padres completely and utterly botched when they brought Luis Campusano up the first time. Talented young hitter, raking in AAA, projects to be an above-average everyday hitter in the major leagues. That's from years and years and years of what scouts are seeing, what executives are seeing, or front office officials are seeing. They bring him up and give him 10 at-bats in 3 weeks, and then they finally give him a start against Arizona. Of course he's going to look overmatched. Of course he's going to look sped up. Of course he's going to be swinging wildly. Hitting is such about rhythm and timing, and of course he wasn't going to have any of that. So they did the right thing, sending him back down to AAA, let him get back and find his rhythm, find his timing, get back to his best self. Well, that's happening. Over his last 7 games, Luis Campusano is hitting 400 with a 1411 OPS. He has 3 homers in his last 5 games. 3 homers in his last 6 games, excuse me. He's back. He's back to being the masher that he is. And now that that's happened, it's time to bring him back up, make him your everyday DH. And this is not just me, some guy scouting the stat line. This is me, the reporter who has covered Luis Campusano since 2018, who is having these conversations with scouts in AAA right now, who's talking with executives in the Padres front office. Opposing scouts can't figure out what the Padres are doing. It's unanimous. This is a big league ready hitter who can hit right now. And even some people in the Padres front office are frustrated because they know that he right now is one of the 9 best hitters in their organization. I would argue he's one of the 6 best hitters in their entire organization. And they've just completely botched handling him. Now's the time to bring him up. He's your 6th hitter. Here's your everyday DH. You give him a month of at-bats, and none of this, we need to give, we need to rotate Machado and Bogarts. And no. This is the priority. Get him up, get him acclimated, because you need an impactful right-handed hitter in your lineup, and that's what he brings. He's the one guy in the organization right now the Padres can call upon internally and give them an upgrade. It's past time. Again, Machado DHs once a week. One of the other guys DHs once a week. Campusano is your starting DH 5 days a week. They need to do it. They need to do it now. If they fail to do it, management is not doing their job of putting the best team on the field and putting their team in the best position to win, period.
Yeah. I mean, look, if he's that hot right now and you're searching for production, why not take the opportunity to give one of your best hitters that when you speak about him, you speak very highly of him. So why not give him the opportunity in this position right now? Kind of slide him in while he's feeling confident about himself coming into, back to a second opportunity to come back and like, okay. And then somebody says to him, hey, we're going to put you here, go hit, try to be as best as you can, productive as you can, go compete and get better and then just allow his talent to kind of blend in and allow the other guys around him to kind of make him, feel comfortable being a part of what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Because if you have this type of production, there's no need for it to be down in AAA trying to win a title down there when you're trying to when you're fighting for a playoff spot
Yeah.
right here in the big leagues. We see all these glamorous numbers that they always throw out there for guys in AAA, this, then the other, like, don't bring them up and play them once a week, sit them against this tough guy, sit them against that tough guy. Like, let them go find out if they can play. Well, you don't have to look over your shoulder. You're wondering if I'm going to play the next day or not. Be upfront with guys and let them know, like, hey, go and play and see if we can get the same production or something similar to what you've been. And you never know what may click in a player if you give them the opportunity to go out and do it. And so at this point, we're at the 83 game mark, man. So, I feel like the Padres are bunched in at about 5 teams in a playoff spot.
Yeah.
And 7 games back of the Dodgers, and the Dodgers are not slowing down anytime soon. So it's just a matter, man, like at this point, you're trying to find the most, as you said, the most productive players to put on the field to help the team get in a position to win, get in a postseason spot.
And the most productive offense the Padres can field, looking at everyone in their entire organization right now, is Arise leadoff, Tatis in the 2-hole, Merrill in the 3, Machado in the 4, Sheets in the 5, Campusano in the 6, Cronenworth in the 7, Bogarts in the 8, and then Elias Diaz in the 9. And again, Xander Bogaerts is hitting better recently. If you want to leave him in the 6th spot for now and put Luis Campusano in the 8th spot while he comes up and just gets acclimated, that's fine. But eventually you make that switch. And I think for the Padres right now, the longer they put this off, the longer they don't do this, again, they're just making the same mistakes over and over and over. And we've talked about this offense is so far past the point of, hey, we need guys to snap out of it. You need to put the 9 best hitters on the field. And that means, again, Gavin Sheets is a left fielder for now. Again, he's getting better out there. We saw early on he was taking a lot of first steps in, which is what you see from infielders. And then it was ugly for a while, but he's starting to get better again. Just made a really nice diving catch in Cincinnati. For now, he's your left fielder. Campusano's your DH. And again, I understand you want to give Manny a day off his legs. That's fine. That's once a week. But the other guys, Tatis, give him a day here or there, Rise a day here, that's fine. But Campusano needs to be your everyday DH 5 days a week. And I'm just going to repeat this. If Padres management does not do this, they are failing to put their best possible lineup out there. And management's job is to put their team in the best position to win. And if they're not putting their best possible lineup out there, they are failing to do their job. We're past it.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, this isn't a call now. This is ringing the cowbell and trying to bring in, to round the guys up so you can get an opportunity to compete for that playoff spot. And sometimes you have to insert like a young guy that has the potential to do it, and it may be maybe a little bit of a struggle for a little bit or whatever. But if you insulate him and give him an opportunity and give him the confidence, you put the confidence in him to go out and get the job done. Guys typically respond, especially guys who you are used to playing every day. The hardest thing to do, man, is come up when you've been doing well. You come up and they tell you that, oh, this is a higher league, so we gotta take it easy on you. No, this is the opportunity that you keep pushing the guys out there to get them going and to help them out, and they will respond and help your team out and bringing in ways to get some victory. So I don't see nothing wrong with the opportunity they should give him right now and go with it. As you said, put Sheets out in left field, and that probably will help him a little bit more also because he's used to playing the outfield. It won't hurt nothing at this particular point. I mean, you got to get something going to get some type of consistency where you can have an opportunity to be productive, especially for the next 3 months or so. It's gonna be a dogfight. It's definitely a dogfight.
That's the lineup they need to roll with through the next month until they make a trade deadline addition. Then we'll see what adjustments they can make after that. All right, Mike, we're going to hear one more word from another one of our sponsors. Then we're going to wrap up with a preview of the Padres series against the Phillies.
It might be that time. If you're looking for a new car, there's one place to go that is going to take care of you, and it's CarGurus.
Yeah.
Looking for a car should be fun, not exhausting. Everywhere else, it's exhausting. You're dodging people. You're trying to just, oh, can I look at this car? CarGurus, you type in your search, you find the color that you want, it narrows it down for you, and all of a sudden you're like, this has been an exciting experience, and you got a great deal.
With over 4 million listings, CarGurus has more car listings than any other major online automotive marketplace in the US, so you can find the best deal. It's no wonder SimilarWeb estimated traffic data shows CarGurus is the #1 most visited car shopping site. Buy or sell your next car today with CarGurus at CarGurus.com. Go to CarGurus.com to make sure your big deal is the best deal. That's CarGurus.com. CarGurus.com.
All right, welcome back to Friar Territory here on the Foul Territory Network. I'm Kyle Glaser. All right, Mike, we have provided the solution, how to fix the Padres offense, given the guys they have in the organization right now. Again, we can do all the theoretical trades we want, but realistically, the lineup we've presented is the best version of the Padres lineup right now based on who they have in the organization. And by the way, that's after, again, scouts are seeing that. Even some officials in the Padres front office are seeing it. They need to make changes, and there's no reason for Luis Campusano to be down in AAA, and there's no reason. They're not optimizing player skill sets by having Tatis clean up and Machado too. They need to flip those.
No.
The thing now is the urgency. The Padres open up a 3-game series at Philadelphia today, and it's not getting any easier. They face Zach Wheeler in the opener. Then they face Christopher Sanchez, who, by the way, is another lefty with a sub-3 ERA. The Padres have had trouble with lefties this year. Then they finish up against Mick Abel, a rookie who pumps 100 with really good secondary stuff. So realistically, these are changes they need to make right now. I understand if, travel schedule is a little tricky and you want to wait till they get the off day on Thursday, maybe wait till they get home. Then they face the Rangers starting on July 4th. But there's a real sense of urgency now. In terms of this upcoming series against the Phillies, again, Philly is a very hitter-friendly ballpark, but you're facing some dudes, starting with Zach Wheeler tonight. What do you want to see out of the Padres offense over these next 3 games?
Well, look, the one thing that's that works well for the Padres, they don't really strike out a whole lot. I mean, it's hot in Philly. And look, Wheeler is one of the best in the league, no doubt about that. And they're in first place. They've been able to hold their spot because they're a championship caliber team. I mean, no matter how you look at it, whatever they're doing, that's a championship caliber team over there, and they have a starting pitcher. But the one thing about the Padres that always goes for them is they don't really strike out a whole lot, so if you're putting the ball in play and you get in a ballpark and you're facing a guy like Wheeler, you're hopefully Waldron can lock in, and give the team 5 or 6 solid innings to get a chance to get at Wheeler. I mean, Wheeler, he's really good, but in this ballpark, things can pop off real quick. It's a smaller ballpark. And if you can, if you're making contact against a guy of this nature right here, then you're going to give yourself a chance. It's just when Wheeler's dominant, you're not getting much to hit, and he's punching out everybody, so it's going to be a battle of for this offense to try to get him, Wheeler's going to be aggressive, but at the same time, knowing that from a Padres standpoint that what we do well is put the bat on the ball. So that's going to frustrate this guy. And then if we put the bat on the ball, more times you put the bat on the ball, the more opportunities that you have a chance for 1 or 2 or 3 of them to go over the fence. So the Padres definitely have this capability. They may be going through a stretch right now of inconsistency, but we've already seen what can possibly happen when things are going very well for the team. And it's just a matter now of trying to find that balance. And now hopefully that someone over there listens to us and put Manny back in his spot, and Machado, Manny back in his spot and Tatis back in his spot in the lineup too. So it just breeds some consistency. We screamed out for help a little bit by trying to move guys around and get them going, but more likely that don't really do it. When you're talking about a Machado and you're talking about a Tatis, these guys understand what it is and what they need to do for themselves. And more likely for Tatis, it's just that, can we eliminate some of the chase? and get the ball in the zone. Because once he's putting the bat on the ball, man, there's a chance that guy is going to go over the fence every once out of 4 or 5 times. So, in that case, in that sense, I think you should be able to put him back in there. And I would definitely put Luis Rise at the top, especially in this series against guys that's throwing 100, that has the capability of throwing 100-mile-an-hour fastballs. Consistency, contact, and stay aggressive, especially in this ballpark. Anything can happen.
No question. The Padres have scored 3 runs or less in 23 of their last 41 games. If you score 3 runs or less in half your games, you're going to lose. And that's what we've seen. They're 18-23 in this stretch. And Mike, I think right now, if you're the Padres again, going up in this series against a really good Philly pitching staff, we've seen the Padres play up to the level of competition in the past. So you hope that they can kind of dig deep and pull that out. But again, it's really this simple. Again, Matt Waldron's making his season debut today. He was really good first half last year, struggled in the second half. We'll see which version of Matt Waldron we get. The knuckler's certainly a wrinkle, and I think it's something that definitely has a place in the game today and a place in the Padres rotation. Again, Robert Suarez blew a save yesterday, but you're not really worried about him. He'll be fine. Jason Adam continues to be locked down. Audrey Morehome's been unhittable recently. Jeremiah Estrada's been doing well. All the Stephen Kolek was great again yesterday. The pitching staff's doing their job. It's really, really simple. The Padres season rests on their offense. And as currently constructed, the offense is not good enough. They need to make changes to maximize the offensive they have in terms of personnel within their organization and putting them in the best positions to succeed. And they need to do it now. We'll see what happens. Mike, any final thoughts as we wrap up here?
Well, look, as teams, get into this stretch, from July to I say the end of August and into September, they definitely, like the frustration is going to be there, continue, because there's not some team that's really running off with this thing. We just know that teams are talented, and just remember that just I always think about it like this: if you can play in the stretch that you did at the beginning of the season, what's missing from that, and what is the reason why we can't play like that again? And kind of try to find that niche in that particular space as to the consistency. And we always know that is one thing that we know that that needs to happen for the Padres is that if we get Tatis going, if we put him in a space to get him going, that kind of just makes it better for everyone because of the talent that he has and what he's capable of doing. We know the other 2 guys, Jackson is a very good professional hitter, and we know Manny Machado is a great professional hitter. They're just trying to get a couple other pieces matched with those guys to make it a lot easier to have the possibility to win games, especially down the stretch in this NL West and in this the wild card situation. There's a lot of teams that vie for spots over there. And look, the Padres are right in the middle of the mix and maybe a little bit frustrated because of that, because they feel like they have a better talented team to be more productive, but it hasn't happened. But they are where they are right now. But I still think their ceiling is kind of higher because some of the guys haven't lived up to the expectations of what they are as a player for the team and for themselves.
No question. The Padres certainly hope there's more in the tank. Historically, there's been more in the tank for a lot of these guys, and they need to start putting them in positions to get the most of their ability. And that starts with putting them in the right positions in the order and surrounding them with the best possible talent. Mike, it's been a pleasure as always. We appreciate your expertise and insight. Thank you so much for joining us.
Definitely, Kyle. Always, baby.
All right, everyone. That'll do it for another edition of Friar Territory here on the Foul Territory Network. Go ahead and give us a review. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, whatever platform you're watching and listening on. We'd love to hear from you. For Mike Cameron, I'm Kyle Glaser. Thanks for watching and listening. See you next week, or later this week, excuse me. Bye-bye.